long enough.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hello. So, have you all been able to configure Metasploitable in your systems? Have you installed it?
I did, yeah.
Okay. And what about you? Were you able to install it yet,
Me, sir.
Subramanian? Yeah.
Yes, sir. I was still unable to do so. I will reformat my laptop and totally install this Parrot Linux as a base system in my personal laptop, sir.
Right. But you still need to have Metasploitable
Yes, yes, understood, sir.
as a virtual machine. Is what I'm saying.
Yes, sure. I will definitely.
Okay. So of course, I mean you can do that later on or as whenever it's convenient for you. But the thing is, you know,
Practice.
try to do it as soon as possible so that you can follow along with things as I do them in class.
Definitely, sir. Sure.
Okay, so that is what I wanted to say.
Okay, sir.
Now I have Metasploitable running, and I also have my Linux Parrot running. Now first I'll show you what happens when you open Metasploitable. Now, okay, this is the screen that you will get when you start Metasploitable, and Metasploitable 2. Yeah, that's the version we are using. So the first thing that it says, never expose this VM to an untrusted network. That is very much true because it is an intentionally vulnerable machine. So make sure that it's not publicly accessible. Now it's giving us the login portal. It's and the credentials are also mentioned. So MSF admin. Okay, I think, and password is the same. So now we have logged in here. Now this is not a complete system that you will be able to use or anything. Okay, this is just meant for practicing. So there's nothing that I have to essentially do here. This is just I wanted to show you this so that when you have been able to configure Metasploitable 2 correctly, this is the kind of screen that you will get. You will be able to log in. But now there's nothing that I'm going to do on this system. Okay, everything that I'll be doing on my Parrot OS, or if you're using Kali, you use that. That's up to you. Okay, so in Metasploitable, there is nothing that I would like to do. Now coming back to our attacking OS. Now, what I need to do is, okay, I know that this Metasploitable system is my target. I know that I want to find a way to hack into that system. So, what is the first thing I need to know about this Metasploitable system in order to be able to start? Can anyone tell me that? What is the first thing I need to figure out about Metasploitable 2?
Whether it is vulnerable or not, check the ports, means scan and check with what.
Can
How can we get into that system? What are the loopholes of that system?
Okay, but how do I run those scans? What information do I
IP
need?
address.
Yes, IP address.
Okay.
So, okay, like you're right, before hacking, I need to perform a lot of scans and those things. But for that, how am I going to run the scan? I need the IP address first. IP address, figuring out the IP address is part of your information gathering phase. We already know that it's on the same network as this machine, as my attacking machine, because it's a virtual machine, it's on my same system, so that reduces a lot of our information gathering phase. But I still need to figure out the IP address. Now, what I need to do is first let me check the IP address of my own system. So for that, I'll use the IP addr command. Now, I have two interfaces, so I'll have two IP addresses, and the one I'm going to be using is this one. This interface, because this is the network that the other machine is on. So this is the current network. Now I'm going to use a tool known as Net Discover. What this does is it basically does a ping sweep of your network and figures out the devices that are active. So let's try and do that for our current network. Okay, first let's just see what. First, you need to check whether the tool is installed on your system. So for that, just run the command. It's telling I must be root. So now I haven't given it anything, so it's going to start running by default. I don't want that. So sudo net discover, and I need to specify the IP address range 10.0.2.0/24. Okay, yeah, I didn't specify the range. So -r parameter for specifying the range. So apparently it was unable to find anything. Let me try specifying the correct interface as well for this. -I, and the interfaces, let me just interface is Ethernet 0. So strange. What if we tried 0 0 slash 16? Okay, so now it's able to tell me what. So it has found 4 devices. Okay. Now I don't know which one of these is metasploitable. I can try to figure that out. So I'll just stop it. If I let it run, it can take a long time. Now see the first IP address on any network, that's always reserved. So this is definitely for the gateway. So if I do try to scan this, I don't think I'll be getting any worthwhile results. I mean, if I ping it, of course it's online, but there's no point in doing the scan further. I can just try to scan the others and map, and I don't remember whether this is going to work or not. Okay, just okay. So when we tried to ping that 10.0.2.3, okay, this is saying that it's getting a response. Nmap is unable to get any response in this case. All ports are filtered. Okay. So so far it looks like this 10.0.2.252 is our required address. So let's just try to focus on it. Nmap 10.0.2.252. Now what I want to do is, by default Nmap only scans for the 1000 most common ports, but I want to be a little more thorough. I want to scan all 65,535 ports. So what option do I specify for that?
Pardon me, sir. To check the port, sir.
I'm saying that I want to perform a port scan.
Okay, sir. Hyphen P and then the port number.
No, I want to scan all ports. Every single port I want to scan.
What are the tags, sir?
So I'm just saying, can anyone tell me what option should I specify if I want to scan all ports? Like what should I write? No? Okay.
Okay.
See, for scanning all ports, what you do is you write hyphen P, and either you can write 1265535. Either you do this, so you're specifying a range in this case, and the range is simply the entire range of ports that are available. Or there is an even simpler way to do this. Just write hyphen P hyphen. Just write that. This tells Nmap that okay, I want to scan all ports, not just any particular port or any range of ports. I want to scan all ports. So if I press enter now, this scan should be running for all ports. Okay, so looks like we have our scan results. Now keep in mind we are getting these scan results very fast because the target device is on the same network as ours. Okay, so this does not reflect the speed of a scan if you're doing it over a network where there is some distance between you and your target. These results are fast because we are having both the devices, the scanning device or the attacking device, whatever you want to call, as well as the target on the same network. Otherwise, there is no way your scans will run this fast. Now, so it said that not shown 65,505 closed ports. Okay, so those ports were closed, but it found 30 ports that were open, and it has listed all of them. Now, bear in mind that if you actually find 30 ports available on a real machine, you would be extremely lucky. But for practice, this machine is present, so they have kept a lot of ports open. But of course, that's going to work to our advantage since the more open ports we have, that means the more possible attack vectors are available for us. Now, I know that these are the ports that are open. What now? What should I do now?
To try to log in with one of the port like FTP, don't know, SSH is open, 22 is open. We can SSH with that IP, check whether if username and password is not there to it. Or we can telnet, we can telnet without any username password. I think it is insecure.
Telnet is insecure as in the data is not encrypted. That see
Okay.
what we can do is instead of first doing all of that manually, I can run a vulnerability scan with Nmap.
Okay. Sir.
Okay, what you are saying is also not wrong. But if I run a vulnerability scan, Nmap will automatically try to do that for me.
Okay, sir.
It's just instead of doing it myself, Nmap is going to tell me whether it can be done. But of course, what you said is correct. We'll try to do that.
Sure, sir.
And this is also going to show us the different vulnerabilities that are present on our target. So there are actually a lot of things open. Actually, a lot of open ports are present here. There's FTP, SSH, Telnet, SMTP. So for mail servers use SMTP. There's HTTP. There's of course SMB as well. There are a lot of other ports actually that you would not normally find open. So this kind of system is actually a gold mine for attackers. If this were actually on a system that's publicly accessible, it would get hacked within seconds.
Do we have any preferred ports? If you have some list of such kind of ports open, do we have any specific
Not
ports to start?
not really.
Mm.
I mean, of course, this machine gives us a lot of options, but a lot of other machines won't give you any options.
Yeah.
Like in quite a few CTFs, you see there's only one port open, or there are only two ports open. You
Mm.
don't have any options then. You have to figure out ways to get in through that port only. I mean, of course, there are some ports that are easier to get into. Like, of course, if there's anonymous FTP login that is present, that will be very easy to access that port. But since it is using FTP, you will also have the limitations that come with FTP. Only the files that are present in the FTP upload portion, only the files that have been uploaded, that have been kept aside for FTP, only those will be accessible. FTP does not allow you to access the entire system or the entire file system. Only whatever is accessible via FTP, whatever the user has made accessible, only that, only those files will be able to look at. seems to be taking longer than I expected. Okay, so now what we have is we have our scan results. Oh boy, that's a lot of vulnerabilities. Okay, usually vulnerability scan results won't be so long, but this is a special case. So okay, so the first port that we see in these results is port 21. So TCP is the protocol is TCP, and the application layer service is FTP. So a file transfer service is running, file transfer protocol is running, FTP server, and the server is VSFTPD version 2.3.4, and it is actually vulnerable because there is a backdoor that exists in this version of the VSFTPD server, which is ironic because VS stands for very secure. Okay, so let's see whether we can exploit this itself to get into the system. Let's check that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my Metasploit, and like I mentioned earlier, Metasploit framework is something that makes your work a lot easier. Although for the purposes of this class, Metasploitable is the only machine that I will use Metasploit with. Others will do everything manually.
Okay, sir.
So Metasploit is open. Now, like I mentioned, Metasploit has a lot of modules. Okay, even they mention it here, 2000 exploits, and so what that tells us is there is a lot of things to do with Metasploit, and there are a lot of modules. I can search for a particular vulnerability, a module belonging to a particular vulnerability, by typing in something related to it. So let's say I want to search for this VSFTPD version 2.3.4. So let me just try searching for VSFTPD first. And we find a vulnerability here. The description is VSFTPD version 2.3.4 backdoor command execution. Is it what we need? Yes, it is exactly what we need. So now I can do use, and either I can write this whole thing, use exploit Unix FTP, this whole thing, or since we have our search results, I can simply write the number use 0. Use 0, enter. So this is the exploit. Now for any exploit, you need to configure the different options before you can run it. So for that, you do first show options. Now these are the options that are present: R hosts and R port. What R host means is the target hosts. It can be a single host, it can be multiple hosts, whatever you want. And the port is by default set to 21 for FTP. And both of these are required options. So that means in order to run this exploit, both of these must have a valid setting. Our port is already set. Let me set the value for our hosts. What value will I be setting here?
IP of the system.
IP of the target, right? So that's 10.0.2.252. So my R host is set. I can check options once again and it is set. Now what I can do is I can simply run and it will run the exploit. So see what we've got here. Backdoor service has been spawned. User ID is equal to root. We should be able to use this as root. If I do who am I, it tells us that I'm root. Now already I have hacked into that system using one vulnerability by exploiting one vulnerability through Metasploit.
Can you type? Can we type PWD, sir, here?
Yes, we should be able to type that. So it's telling us we're
Okay.
in the main root
Okay,
directory.
sure. Okay, thanks, sir.
You can type ls. You can type all Linux commands. No,
Sure.
so you type ls. You saw the different directories present. And since we are root, we can change into any directory. We should be able to access anything. cd into the root directory. See what files are available. So these are the files available. Okay.
Sir, punch up ls/home, sir. ls/home. That's how
ls.
many ls space slash home. HOME home. Space
Okay.
slash.
So you want to see the contents of home, right?
Yes, users. It contains usernames, sir.
Contains usernames, exactly. So MSF admin is one,
Okay,
then
sir.
service user and the FTP directory is also present here.
Okay, okay. Sure. Okay, thanks, sir.
Okay. And whatever commands you want to run, you can run here. Now this is a very basic shell on the system. Metasploit has an inbuilt elevated shell known as meterpreter. Okay, that basically gives you a better control over your target. What I want to try to do is upgrade my shell to a meterpreter shell. So the process I'll use is first I'll background the current shell. So I'll put it in the background. I'll stop interacting with it. For that I need to press Control Z, Z or Z, whatever you want to call it. So it's asking me background session one. I'll say yes. And I'll use the sessions command to see how many sessions are currently running. So there's one session that's running. Sessions upgrade two. Sorry, one. So what this is going to do is this is going to upgrade my session. So the -u command and the session ID. This is going to upgrade my session to a meterpreter shell. Okay, so let me, and that it was it. It says upgrading session ID one. Let me run the sessions command again. I don't think it was able to do this successfully. Let me try it again. Upgrade it. Oh, it was unable to do it. What we can try to do is run this exploit ourselves. Oh, stopping it now. Okay, let's see what you're doing with exploit. Let me just check sessions. What did it do? Okay, nothing. So what I can try to do is use, that's a Zoom meeting link. I don't know why it's coming now. I think this did not get copied properly. No worries. I'll just try again. Okay, so this session is unable to upgrade itself. No worries. We'll just use the session like it is. Now, if I want to start interacting with the session once again, sessions hyphen I for interact and the session ID, which is 1. And I'm back in that session. So whatever commands I want to run on that session now, I can do that. Now, if I cd to the home directory, okay, where am I now? I'm in root. ls user. Okay, let's see what files are present in the MSF admin directory. So cd into the MSF admin ls vulnerable. Okay, let's cd into that as well. ls. Okay, these are some files which are maybe not so useful to us. You can do, okay, these are other directories. You can do ls hyphen l, so to get the list version of the details, which will also tell you file and directory permissions. Okay, so this does not look like useful information for us. Perhaps our shell is stuck somewhere. No, we are in the user directory, and okay, apparently there's nothing here.
Sir, once type ls space hyphen la, sir. La.
LA will show you the hidden files as well.
Yes, sir. We can say SSH files or their .ssh files over there or not. .ssh
So
files.
SSH files and directories are also visible here,
Yes, sir.
but they are of no use to us in this particular scenario
Okay, sir.
because we are already able to log in as root. So why would I need someone's SSH keys?
Yes, sir. Sure.
Right now, Metasploitable is not like a traditional CTF machine, so there are no flags here to capture. But in any other typical CTF, what you'll see is that there will be two flags, one within the user directory and one within the root directory. So a minimum of two flags will be there on every machine. There can be a lot more depending on whatever machine you are solving. It's not that it has to be limited to two, but you'll find flags on other systems. This is not meant for that purpose. This is not meant to be a CTF, so there are no flags in this. Okay, so we have seen one way of exploiting a vulnerability of getting access to the system. I'll expand upon this in future sessions. So now in today's session, what we did was we used Metasploit to exploit a vulnerability that we found within the system by running a vulnerability scan using Nmap.
Okay, sir.
But you can exploit this vulnerability without using Metasploit as well. Okay, there is a way to do that without using Metasploit. Sorry, not Metasploitable, without using Metasploit. Metasploit is the tool exploitable is the machine. Have to remember that. Now, okay, I'm just going to close this session for now because there's nothing for me to do here. Now, what I want to say is that with Metasploit, you automate a lot of things. A lot of things are done automatically by Metasploit for you. But what we want to do is we want to try and do things ourselves. So there is this website called exploitdb.com where you'll find a lot of exploits. Okay, even if you currently don't have this Metasploitable installed in your system, I want to give you a small homework. Try to figure out how you can exploit this particular vulnerability without Metasploit. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And I've already given you a hint that you can do something on exploit database. You can look up the exploit there. So try to figure out whether you are able to exploit it with the help of you know
Sure.
this. Okay, without the help of Metasploit, by just using the exploit itself. And okay, don't use Google. Try to use this yourself. It's perfectly okay if you're not able to do it, but all I want to all I want you to do is to at least try to figure out whether there is a way to do it. Actually, there is a way to do it. That's what I'm telling you. Try to figure out how to do it. Okay, don't just Google it. Try to do it yourself. I'm not saying that okay you have to do it, but just try. And I'll be showing you how to do that myself in class. But I'd like you to try that.
Okay, sir, sure.
Okay. Now, does anyone have any questions regarding today's session?
Not at the moment.
No? Okay.
Sir, one small question, sir. You can
Yes.
answer next in next class also if it takes time. Sir, Metasploit